thou mayest tell my father, whom I know will ask thee, these words, that my prison shall be my grave before I will budge a jot. For I owe my conscience to no mortal man. I have no need to fear. God will make amends for all. If William had to spend the rest of his life in this cold, dank, rat-infested prison, then so be it. As William sat in the corner contemplating his bleak future, his mind wandered back to happier times during his childhood in Wanstead. Chapter 2. A National Hero. 4-year-old William Penn walked carefully up the steps to his house. Cupped in his hands was a bird's nest he had found in the hedge. It was midwinter, and the nests that once were hidden by green foliage and filled with baby robins were now clearly visible and empty. Setting the nest down, William took off his coat before running to show his mother his latest treasure. He was just approaching her chamber when he heard an unfamiliar sound. Behind the closed door, someone, an adult, was sobbing. William cracked the door and peered inside. His mother was sitting on the bed, her head in her hands. Beside her was one of their neighbors. "I thought you'd like to know as soon as I heard from London," the woman was saying to Mrs. Penn. William watched as his mother lifted her head and forced a smile. "Of course. But what a thing to do! Who can believe it? The Roundheads have chopped off the king's head. There's never been a day like this in all of history. To think of people rising up against the man God placed over us and killing him. What will happen now? Poor King Charles," she wailed. After gently shutting the door, William crept away to his own room. As he sat on his bed, the bird's nest forgotten, he tried to work out what he had just heard. He had seldom seen his mother cry before, and even then it was just a tear or two when his father, Captain William Penn, Sr., went back to sea. The king's death must be a very sad thing, William thought to himself. William didn't know a lot about the king, though he had heard his father talk about him, and once he'd seen a painting of the king holding 2 huge falcons. "Your grandfather, Giles Penn, gave those birds to his majesty," William's father had told him. "He was a sea captain like me, and if he found something he thought the king would like on one of his voyages, he'd bring it back for him. They were friends, you know." Several days later, as he sat at the table eating rabbit pie, William asked, "Mama, if the old king is dead, who is the new king?" Mrs. Penn looked at William for a long time, and then drew a deep breath. "Now, there won't be a new king. We have a parliament and a commonwealth now, and Oliver Cromwell is their leader," she said. Indeed, deep political changes had taken place in England, but it would be several more years before William fully understood the impact of what had happened that cold January day in 1649, when King Charles was executed. Even though the king was gone, not a lot changed in William's small world. A house and farm located in Wanstead, Essex, 11 miles northeast of the wall that surrounded the city of London. However, big changes took place in other parts of Great Britain. The country had been in turmoil for years. King Charles had been authoritarian in his rule, levying high taxes on the people of Britain to pay for his extravagant lifestyle. As well, for 11 years he refused to convene Parliament. When finally under pressure he called Parliament back together, the Puritan-dominated Assembly decided it was time for change. The power of the autocratic king had to be curtailed, they argued. England needed to become a more open place, where the religious freedoms of others were respected. To help achieve this end, Cromwell, a brilliant general, raised and trained a people's army that became known as the New Model Army.